Hey traders, welcome. Franco here. I'm going to break down the trade that I took today. Let's see what I missed, what I did, and what I didn't do. Let's jump right in. All right, so I like to see the dollar, right? So I woke up yesterday earlier in the morning and I saw an interesting thing. Wow, the dollar was breaking this pivot. And then I scrolled the chart down and I saw, all right, it's breaking this pivot too. So we might have an interesting trading day because the dollar is not only breaking these two pivots, but is changing in its market structure. So for a year, we've been just dropping steady declines in the dollar. Now we have this run up since mid July, and we are getting to the turning points. Okay, if you guys know and have seen my trading or the live streams, I had this supply, and this supply was the one that caused this retracement here. But ultimately, the dollar is strong and is going up back to this couple pivot heights. There's still a lot of supply up here, but we will see what happens. For now, I was very interested in wow, what is going to happen now because the dollar is changing, and it really is. Like if you go to the 30-minute, right, you'll see how we are now starting to build value above these pivots, like this one, this one. So it's interesting, right? The dollar is going up. So for those who know my trading, I like to use correlations with the dollar. When the dollar is going up or is in demand, I like to short the markets, and the other way around. When the dollar is in supply, I like to long the markets. Okay, so that's not rocket science. If you check on mrci.com, you can Google MRCI intermarket correlations. You will see how the dollar is inversely correlated to the ES at the rate of 80%. That means it's inversely correlated. So we could have an edge with the dollar. You can find it yourself as well. It all if it suits to your trading style or trading psychology. And I want to tell you, it's interesting because it's been an evolution in my trading journey, and I'm incorporating things, getting rid of all other things. And you will see later in this video how the trigger that made me take this trade is such an amazing thing, and I think it's been a game changer for me. Okay, so all right, so the dollar, right? So after the dollar, let me tell you what was going on in the chart after the market open. Here's the market open, and I say, all right, this is not an open range. This is not an open range behavior, right? An open range behavior, for those who don't know what an open range behavior is a sudden open to one direction, very little retracement, and then a continuation. And this is a precursor or a predetermination that I use to assess if it's going to be a trending day. But it doesn't have to be immediately. It's not like the first second of the market just went parabolic or the other way around, right? To the downside. I see this and I very early anticipated that no, this is not gonna be a open range behavior. And I said, all right, I'm just gonna wait for it to give me the entry. And I was very patient here. But guess what? After this small retracement, we had a sudden drop. Boom. Is 15 to 096 point. It's not much, but this range is not very high. So within this range, 6 points is something that is substantial. Right out of the gate, I'm wrong assessing if we will have a trending market or no. So I said, all right, we might have a normal variation day, and that's the most common thing to have because 70% of the time we have a normal variation day. That means that markets goes down, it goes up, it tests some high or low and create a range, and it closes nearby the opening range. That happens 70% of the time, believe it or not. For those who want to know more about that, you can go ahead and buy this Tom Alexander book. It's about volume profile and market structure. It tells you and explains very easily, in a very easy manner, how to understand market dynamics and market structure. Okay, so let's go back to the chart, right? So right out of the gate, I'm wrong here, and I said, all right, I want this thing to come back to 16 so I can place a trade here and take it short, right? But what happens is that we created value here in this level around 12, right? And then boom, we collapsed to the downside. After this move happened, like this guy that trades used to trade with he's dead now, but he used to trade with Tom Trader, is I think is David Paul or something. He says, when you put a trade, right? When you put your stop is where you should be putting your entry. Okay, so that thing is stuck in my head. Like, all right, so I'm now I want to try to enter the trade where the majority of the stops are. Here, yes, I know probably a lot of stops are here, but it's unrealistic. If we don't have momentum to the upside, we won't have this in play. So I said, all right, here is a good entry point. I said, all right, a lot of stops might be here. A lot of buyers here are, losing in their position because prices went down. And then when we come back here, a lot of buyers are going to bail out. And a lot of short sellers have their stop around like this level. That's 13. I went and put my order right here. That was my first order to sell, sorry. That was my first order to sell. Prices came here shy. These sellers were active, never came to this level. And that's the risk that I'm willing to take when I'm taking these type of trades. I am looking for the stops where the stops are. Sometimes the stops are not triggered, right? All right, so I was now starting to feel FOMO. Really, I really started to feel FOMO. Like I analyze the market. I have my context. I think this thing is working well. I could have gone in, and I am not, right? And now we're starting to build value here, and I said, all right, this thing is going to continue to go down. How do I get in? How do I get in? And I'm feeling I'm very, 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 very tense and feeling like, damn, why I didn't. And then I saw this one, another stop triggering here. This is the retest of this pivot here, the range low. And I start telling myself, my mind start building up scenarios where I could have taken a trade. And that's so bad mentally. So that's why you need to have awareness. You need to understand that your mind will play tricks because it'll start seeing things that are not true. And yes, this is an opportunity, but it's such a narrow window where you have to enter here. You have to have a limit order, right? And then boom. I think with more experience I could achieve those levels, but right now I need to be realistic, right? So my mind started to think, Franco, why you didn't take this one? You're having opportunities. You have this one, right? You have this one, and you didn't take any. Sorry, let me come back here. There you go. Oh my goodness. All right. So well, I said, you know what is done is done. I cannot, reverse time, come back time. So let's do this. I'm going to wait for this one again. I'm going to wait for this one. On the meantime, I want to go check the internals, right? So I came here. Internals were here. Advanced decline coming down steadily, right? From here to here. Negative number. So I'm good for the short. The dollar. I want to go see the dollar. Let's go see the dollar. Right. And what time is this? It was around 10:20. Let's go see the 5 minutes. 10:20 is around here. All right, so the dollar still going up. It's at its highs, retracing a little bit, but I know the corrective move. It's not that I know what is going to happen. That's to be clear. But I'm assuming the corrective move is to the downside. Like the dollar broke a couple pivots to the upside. So now I'm thinking, all right, any retracement on the dollar is just a corrective move, right? So I want to get in when the dollar is reaching some buy orders, some demand if you will, some demand areas, right? So yeah, the dollar is coming down and the market is retracing to the upside. That means this small run up, right? And then I spot this and I said, all right, this thing is retracing. Hasn't broken this high on the advanced decline. The tick chart is completely like biased to the downside. Like we have very little prints above the zero line. That's very bearish for the market when the tick spends more time on the downside. Sorry, I was talking with the dollar chart. So the tick is skewed to the downside, right? That this is very important. The tick is skewed to the downside. Here the advanced decline is coming down minus 1300. You have this pivot here, it hasn't been broken. So yeah, I'm looking good for the short, right? So let me get rid of this, and then I waited for this for the prices to come back to this area. And when prices come back to this area is when the, if you will, magic happens, right? So, and this has been the game changer for me. And I'll show you what is that triggered this entry. I know prices went above the level 13. It went up to 14, but I got in here. I actually got in at 13. I pressed the button here, but I got slipped. Probably a fair amount of orders came in, and I got triggered with slippage. Okay. And this was my target, and I'll tell you later what happened here. It was, oh my god, so painful. But let's watch this video. This is the footprint chart. Let's press play here, and you can see how at the minute 26, right? The minute 26 is prices are going up parabolically, right? Like and look at that, right? So here, this point is this. This point is this, right? That's the high. That is the high. This is a replay. Okay. So you have a delta of 476. Look at what happens in a 1 second span. Look at that. There you go. Like that, like 2 seconds, right? From plus 500 to minus 182. What does that mean? There's a bunch of sellers coming into the market aggressively. And that is when I decide to click sell. So I go ahead, I click sell, and then buyers try to defend this previous candle COT, but they couldn't, and sellers were overwhelmingly stronger than buyers in this area, right? So that's the game changer. It's crazy how you can spot this thing. Now go back to the internals, because this is one thing that I want to spot. The internals were talking very clearly. Like here, obviously the advanced decline, we already said it was minus 1300. It was not breaking this pivot, right? When it came back here, now look at this. It came down. Now it's creating this high right here. This high. The market is creating this high and these two highs, right? 1, 2. Look at the advanced decline. One high right here, right? And one high right here. There you go. Look at the second high. So what is that called? For those who are trading with me every day, that is called divergence, right? Advanced decline divergence. That's a very good auto enhancer that I use to take my trade, right? And the last thing is that I was building up I was about to close the trade here. I was like very pissed. Like I was mad at me because I didn't put the thing above this candle. But the reality is that you don't know what is going to happen. Everything looks good. Everything looks good for it to continue going, right? And it went. But here, you don't see this, but I'm trading the ES, I'm trading the MES on an ES chart. So on the ES chart, I was, this price was 45.0725, was tapped more than once. So, and you can see it here, right? So it was so close to being triggered, and then it rejected it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna close it. No, like an emotional roller coaster right here, because I wanted to hit my target. And I said, all right, I'm gonna protect my trade. My stop was here, break even now. By the way, my risk was above this pivot. It was a 2-to-1 trade. So a roller coaster emotions here. I wanted to close it, but every time it came here, I saw the footprint just adding more sellers, and that helped me to hold on into the trade. And this was the target. I had other orders here, but it never came. And also, I was not looking for any long. I had on the back of my mind that a normal variation day was very likely. And here was the normal variation day. It was a sideways day. It was not a trending day. Now it closed at its low. All right, I hope you liked the video. If you find value, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And I see you in the next video.